I'd like to bring your attention together, please, and thank you all for turning out tonight. This presentation is co-sponsored by the Sierra Club of Michigan and ROAD, Reviving Our American Democracy, which is a local group of activists. We want to thank you all for attending. We want to inform you more specifically about CAFOs in general and a particular CAFO nearby us, about your options for testing your well water to protect yourselves and your families and your health, and to let you know that we've received through our county drain commissioner, Brenda Moore, the opportunity to submit comments to Eagle for two things. Their every 2-year plan for enforcing the Clean Water Act in Michigan, as they're required by federal law to do, and the E. coli TIMDLs, the total maximum daily load information regarding E. coli in streams and lakes in Michigan. Both of those involve a comment period where public comment is received from citizens and organizations, and that comment period will expire 11 days from now, July 29. So if you are interested to make comments and have them received, please leave us your email and we will send you links, and then you can initiate the contact to submit comments on your own behalf. So we would ask you please to be sure to give us your email this evening so we can link you into that process. ROAD has what's called a CAFO Resistance Committee. Members of our local community have been working with ROAD to oppose the Flower Creek swine CAFO now for over 20 months. There are now pigs in the CAFO barn, and the spreading of the CAFO waste is probably just a few weeks away. But we're still fighting to protect clean water, public health, property rights, and all the other things that are involved. The outcomes, if we end up with a swine CAFO in our community, are as unacceptable or as unjust today as they were 20 months ago when we started. We've done this through 2 formal legal channels. One is called a contested case through the Department of now called Environment, Great Lakes and Energy, EGLE. Formerly DEQ, for those of you who are working under a previous set of initials. That contested case is still ongoing, and other legal actions, including a MEPA, Michigan Environmental Protection Act, suit in circuit court, which would involve an injunction in Oceana County. Those are also still possible as well, but they're very hard to afford. We have already raised and spent upwards of $30,000 in attorney fees to get us this far, and there are more fees in our future if we're going to maintain those legal channels to oppose this CAFO. We've learned the hard way that when it comes to CAFO laws and regulations, the balance of justice weighs pretty heavily in favor of those who have lobbied the legislature and purchased preferential treatment in the form of the current right to farm laws and similar statutes. So we think, among other things, we have to not only pursue these legal channels, but hope that people will be focused toward changing the culture in Lansing, shifting the attitudes in Lansing, helping politicians of both parties realize that at the grassroots it is one water system, that the citizens of Michigan realize that the rain that falls from the sky and goes down through farmland and becomes part of the water table and then is absorbed by the citizen in their drinking water is all part of one hydrological cycle, and that needs to come to the front in the attitudes in Lansing. I do want to share with you 3 of the 16 requests that we made for settlement and the responses, and I'm going to paraphrase those requests for settlement. They're rather lengthy, but in essence, the first one was that we asked Eagle to stop issuing any NPDES permits throughout the state until they had adequate staff and budget to enforce the existing permits, because the different times that various people have turned to them for enforcement, they'll say, we don't have enough people, we don't have enough money, sorry, we can't get to your problem right away. Well, if that's the current status, then with more permits, you know, you get the logic. More permits and more CAFOs means it'll be a much more difficult status. Their reply was that, in essence, when somebody applies for a permit and they've marked all the boxes in the correct way, they are powerless to deny that permit. So more permits will continue to be issued. The second of our points that I want to bring to your attention on our list, when CAFOs are concentrated in an area, it's our belief that that is a threat to the water table and concentrates the nutrients and the problems from the slurry into that water table. But each permit is only considered in isolation. What will this one permit do, not how many adjacent permits are there and what are those permits already doing. And so our second point was to say you ought to consider the adjacent permits that are in proximity within a given watershed, because there is a cumulative effect at least into that watershed. Their answer was that they do not have authority, Eagle that is, to prohibit a permit based on the location of any other CAFOs in the adjacent watershed. You get the picture. These are discouraging replies. And then I'll share with you one more out of our 16, and that was we were paying attention when Governor Whitmer issued her first executive order, which directed that any state employee who became aware of a threat to public health and safety should in effect become a whistleblower, bring that to the attention of the people above them in their chain of command, and ultimately to the governor herself, so that people could intercede in that circumstance. Because it's our belief that this particular CAFO, based on the scientific studies that we have already paid for and have already been completed by recognized authorities, based on those studies, that this one indeed is going to be a threat to public safety, including people's well water. And their answer, Eagle's answer to us was that they do not agree that land application of CAFO waste from this particular CAFO would result in any unlawful pollution. So we're up against a series of difficult replies, and we're going to do our best with scientific evidence to try to refute that and bring that to the attention of the chain of command, including the governor and the court system. With us tonight, we have Amanda Robert from the Michigan Sierra Club. And I want to briefly introduce her with her bio, if I can get the code entered in my phone correctly here. All right, let's do this all over again. There we go. Amanda Robert first got involved with the Sierra Club through their political and legislative programs. She's worked on several political campaigns, and she's been helping train activists and candidates. She was in a democracy organizer for the Michigan chapter in 2018, and in that year, Sierra Club supported the proposals number 2 and 3 that were on the statewide ballot, the Commission for Gerrymandering, Redistricting, and the state referendum to increase the ease of access to the ballot box. Those, of course, were successful, as many of you know. Amanda has also worked on the issue of factory farming from the standpoint of the legislature, And I should acknowledge that we have Representative Sabo with us tonight, who, among other things, has sponsored snow fro legislation. You'll hear more about that in the presentation from Amanda. But Terry, if you'd stand up for a minute for anybody who doesn't know Terry Sabo. He is in the legislature from nearby us here. Amanda has also been an activist regarding human rights and water. She is the mother of 2 young children, and so very passionate and concerned about their future and a positive and a healthy environment for the children she's raising. And with that, here's Amanda. Hang on to that point.
There we go. So I want to start out by just thanking everybody for joining me today. This summer evening, we could all be doing anything else, and we're here talking about factory farming. It exited, so I'll just get this back up there real quick.